everyone, it's Jay.
And Sean.
And the worst has happened.
Well, the worst hasn't happened all the way.
Oh. It's true, but Sean is forcing me to watch The Lord of the Rings, which I have successfully evaded for many, many years. In fact, I do realize that I tend to shy away from all of these like mega trilogies and stuff. Like, I never saw Star Wars before I met you.
That's right.
I still haven't seen Harry Potter. Like, I really am not into this stuff. And Sean is into all of this bad stuff.
Well, not Harry Potter.
I'm sure that's coming, but anyways.
I really don't have a desire to make you watch that or to watch it myself.
Well, then maybe I should make you watch it.
Maybe you
should.
We
can both suffer.
I mean, is that really the best revenge for you, though?
Well, I'm glad we both agree that you deserve to be revenged.
I do, yeah. I'm not denying that.
Mm-hmm.
I do have this nasty habit of just spraying these things on you when you're trapped in the house.
That's right. So we are watching The Lord of the Rings.
We are, and so we just finished the first one. The Fellowship of the Ring.
It took 7 days.
It's a long movie. It's a slow movie.
It's so boring. First of all, I hate you for making me say this on the internet because for sure people are going to hate on me. I'm sorry. You can love it. I don't love it.
You're allowed not to love it.
And the thing is, I have always felt that I probably would not love them, so I didn't see them. And most people agreed that I probably wouldn't like these because that's who I am. And yet, seconds before pressing play on the DVD, Sean turns to me and says, there's a chance that you're really going to like these movies.
There was a chance.
I don't know how that just struck you all of a sudden that I might like these movies.
I don't know either. It occurred to me. I mean, there is an Oscar winner in here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It doesn't come for a while. It doesn't come for like 6.5 more hours. Yeah. But eventually there's going to be some Oscars.
I mean, pity Oscars. Throw the man a bone, Oscars.
He worked hard. They worked hard.
Yeah. Not hard enough.
I don't think they could have done anything to win you over if you're not won over.
Well, I don't know. I bet you I could make this into a much better movie.
Well, for sure you could.
For sure I could.
No doubt about it.
I mean, these are draggy. There was I felt like an information overload. And I don't know this. Have you read the book?
No.
Okay. I figured you hadn't. I have definitely typecast you as the person who has never read any of the books. So how you even dealt with this onslaught of information enough to go home from the cinema and be like, I liked that movie.
I already knew the basic outline of it. Mm-hmm. We had the books.
Oh, okay, so you just learned from osmosis?
No, my dad read the books. My dad wanted us to read the books.
Okay.
He tried to read The Hobbit to us, which didn't go great, because it's boring. And it's a short one.
That one's boring. Yeah.
Well, that's where he, I think, knew, I'm not even going to attempt the other ones, because this, I thought, was the kid-friendly, fun one. And it didn't work.
Not so.
No.
I'm finding it difficult for many reasons. I'm going to forgive the fact that the effects are not looking great.
They are.
Because I'm sure they were wonderful at the time.
They were.
They are not wonderful anymore.
They're not.
But I mean, that happens to all of us. Time marches on. Technology has advanced quite a bit. And like imperceptibly, you never notice movie to movie, and yet when you look back 20 years, you're like, holy cow, I can't believe I watched this garbage.
It's true. The big troll looks terrible. He looks like a puppet. Like, they would have been better to use a guy in a suit, I think, at this point.
Well, I mean, there's always going to be something to said for practical effects.
They age so much better.
Yeah. So, and I am surprised, actually, having never seen these movies, but heard so much about them and heard about New Zealand so much, I'm surprised about how much these are in front of a green screen. So, I don't know, I just don't feel super engaged by it. I'm really, it's information heavy. They're throwing a lot of characters at you. And they all have the same haircut, so how am I supposed to tell them apart?
It is a good point. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's going to improve.
Well, yeah, because they're dying off.
They're dying.
Yes. Yeah. One of every haircut must die.
I think that is going to happen by
Yes,
then.
okay. But here is the even bigger problem. They're all boys.
They are. There are no women in this group.
And that is not okay.
And that is going to change a little bit, but not enough.
Well, you know what? How can you have like all of the, like this is a big troop that we're talking about, this fellowship.
We're 9 members of the fellowship.
Mm-hmm. Yet they're all white boys?
Also, everyone at that meeting was
right.
a white man.
That's right.
There were no females that got cut out at the last minute.
No.
They weren't even invited to the party.
No. So I'm really feeling like, and like these boys are like hugging and crying each other. They're clearly having really nice man moments all the time. And I just feel like I'm not invited to this party. This whole story is not about me. It's not for me. It's not even trying to be nice to me. Like, there have been 2 female characters that were on the screen for maybe a combined total of 4 minutes out of 3.5 hours. Like, give me a break. Yeah. I mean, I just don't need a movie like that in my life. Or a book like that. Yeah. I just don't. It's really, really pathetic.
It is a huge problem. Mm-hmm. And it's very glaring. Which is, I think, a good thing that it's glaring.
That now it's glaring.
It wasn't at the time because
maybe if the script came out now, we would have had to throw in a token girl.
Well, not even a token.
An Everest.
An Everest. But the 2 elves, the female elves, Liv Tyler and Kate Blanchett, they could be big parts of this movie. Mm-hmm. But they're not.
Yeah, but you could also make the main guy a woman.
You could.
Obviously, any of these people could have been women, they just aren't.
Also true. There are plenty of female hobbits that just don't get invited on this trip. Mm-hmm.
They look better in jewelry. I don't know why everyone, like all the bad guys, love their jewelry.
That's basically what this is about. They're fighting over a ring.
Yeah.
Not that nice a ring.
Or a gauntlet, or a...
It's
all
always
these
something.
Boys just, apparently have been jealous about our jewelry this whole time.
A dagger that glows blue, that's a fashion accessory.
Is it ever. I mean, he's certainly not using it to fighting advantage, let me just say.
The mithril armor, the shiny armor?
Oh my god, I know. That totally was like a Victoria's Secret camisole. Thank you very much. But yeah, this kid gets stabbed more often than anybody should, and still is alive to torture me further.
Oh yeah, and I think this is the least brutal movie for him. It gets worse.
I mean, he's really bad at this. Why was he selected for this job? He is really bad at this.
That is kind of the whole point.
Okay.
That's the lesson here. Mm-hmm. The hobbits are disregarded as useless. He's proving there is a reason for that, and yet he's got a role. Mm-hmm. He is the one that will save everyone because he doesn't care as much about jewelry.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. / power.
Yeah. And yet, if they would have just asked one woman, this whole saga would have been unnecessary.
It wouldn't have happened. That's right.
That's right. We would have solved it for you.
Thrown it right into Mount Doom when she had the chance.
That's right.
Just like Hugo Weaving asked.
Oh boy. Yeah, so I'm not loving the movie. I'm harboring some real deep roiling resentment towards it. And how many hours do we have left? We're just one movie in,
We're
guys.
one movie in.
And this is how I'm feeling. So...
It might get a little better.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I like that you're still holding that.
I've given up that you're going to enjoy these.
Okay.
The next one.
But you do feel like we need to soldier on.
I do.
Okay.
You've gone through like...
Because I am not even curious.
90% of the setup of these movies.
Okay.
So it does get more action, which isn't a real selling point, I realize.
Wait, well, not for me. It's not, no.
I think we should keep going.
Oh, man.
That's my vote.
Oh.
Let's get all the way to Mordor.
Oh, phooey.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, why does that guy always have a braid in his hair? Like, if you're going to war, like, why do you get up early in the morning to do that?
I think his hair just naturally goes that way.
Does it? In a braid?
In a braid.
Do you know anything about hair, Sean?
No.
Oh, I know you think I woke up looking like this.
You did.
That's true, I did. And you don't think that because you have to sit around for 2 hours.
Hardly.
Yeah.
The thing
it's
about...
rough. And I hate the big feet.
Oh yeah, that
Can we
is
talk about the
unnecessary.
big feet? Oh, come on, Peter Jackson. Listen, I'm sure it's in the book.
It definitely is.
But you know what? You already cut a lot out of the book. You don't have to bring everything. Like this, I just feel like it's so weird because the tone of the movie is so serious. We take everything so seriously. Like, oh, they're getting tears in their eyes because they feel things so bad. And like, oh, here's my wizard stick against wizards. Like, it's just so crazy. And yet they're just flopping around with clown shoes all the time. Like, it's ridiculous. And I just, we just didn't need that little detail. That's obviously unimportant.
And if we took out the close-ups of Hobbit feet, it would probably be 15 minutes shorter.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh boy, it's rough.
We didn't need it.
It's rough. It's really.
Well, we're gonna see more.
Why
Hobbit
are we
feet.
doing this?
We're gonna see more fights.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna see more probably dated special effects.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
But off we go.
Jeez, this is an undertaking.
There is an analogy here to the quest itself, which just goes on forever.
Forever, yes. And I hope that I am accruing major points in the wife bank.
Absolutely.
Because this has to be for something.
Yeah.
And it is not for entertainment. I'll tell you that for sure.
I mean, people might be enjoying watching this.
Probably not. I mean, these movies aren't even relevant anymore. They're very old.
True, they are very old.
They're very old. Okay, let's stop because I just can't. I'm unhappy.
Okay.
Okay. Bye for now.
We're now talking about the second Lord of the Rings movie, The Two Towers.
The Two Towers. Wow, okay. I didn't know it was called that, and I don't know why it's called that.
It's called The Two Towers because Saruman has one tower and Sauron has the other tower. So the two towers team up to take over the world.
What?
Yep.
What?
Yep. That's what's happening. So that's what happened. We saw part of that happen.
Agree to disagree. No, like honestly, I have no idea what's happening in these stupid movies.
I know, you really are struggling with that.
I am. I never know what's going on. But I mean, obviously...
I think it's that you don't care.
Well, for sure. That is definitely it. I am really, like the first movie in probably like 20 minutes, I was like, no. I'm not
It
doing
wasn't even
well.
that long.
Well, as soon as they left the little like
The Shire.
Hobbit town, okay, the Shire, I was like, no, this is not fun.
Because of their
I
feet.
really, not just because of their feet. I mean, that's the first in series of many bad decisions. But I'm not engaged in the story at all. There's too much detail. There's too much stuff happening. None of this needs to be happening. They made too many stops that are really inconsequential. And everything is too much like everything else. Like you just said the two names.
Oh, they're very close. That is really a mistake.
Like that's stupid. And they both have towers, so you can't even be like, well, the one with the tower. No. Everybody has the same haircut. I know I already said that, but I am still complaining about that because then we found the dead guy's brother who has the same haircut.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, Faramir and Boromir. They're basically the same guy.
Like I just can't take it. And you know what else I can't take? Mr. Frodo.
Uh-huh.
that little guy, what's his name?
Frodo Baggins?
No, his friend. His friend who
Samwise
always
Gamgee.
calls him Mr. Frodo.
Yeah.
They're on like an earth-crossing, death-defying trip together, and not once does he say, "Hey, call me Frodo." Not once.
Because he's his servant.
Oh, God, I am super uncomfortable with that relationship. I am not okay with this at all.
Well,
it makes me uncomfortable every time. And he talks down to him so much.
Yes, he does.
Like, I don't know where he got this air of, like, I'm more important than you because...
Well, he's a Baggins.
So?
And that's royalty in the Shire.
Well...
Yeah. Like, this is, I think, incidentally, we are not watching the extended edition.
No, we are not.
We're watching, like, they're still 3 hours long, but they're only 3 hours long.
Are they only 3 hours long? Are you
These
sure?
first two have been 3 hours.
No, I bet they were like at least 7 hours.
Oh.
I cannot believe how much more we still have to watch.
Well, the third one is the longest one.
Oh, God. You know...
I think it's interesting because
Please tell me what's interesting.
how you hate the relationship between Frodo and Sam. And I think that
Why?
does well because that is supposed to be the core of these movies. Is that relationship,
Oh boy.
and you can't stand them together.
No,
This
I mean,
is their journey. They're traveling, I don't know, hundreds of miles across Middle Earth to save the world. And having all these adventures and saving each other's lives, just doing some good bonding in the forest. And
I don't like it. It's
I
like
know you don't like it. I just think,
Huckleberry Finn.
yeah,
We stopped teaching that.
we did. Fortunately, everyone in this movie is white, so they can
Everyone in this movie is white.
Yeah.
Everyone in this movie is white.
Everyone.
And almost everyone in this movie is still a boy.
Yeah.
And you told me last time, because I was already having a hard time, and you were like, oh, the girls are coming back. They were not in the second movie at all. There's not a single woman the entire time.
Untrue, there is a woman who didn't do anything because they introduce her in number 2 and she doesn't do anything until the third one. And even then, it's not a whole lot, but it is an important one thing that she does.
You mean like the girlfriend of the guy who was thought to be dead?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she gets about as much screen time as a chair.
Yeah. She doesn't get a lot more in the third one. She just
I bet.
like is a little more important.
Ugh, these
Like,
movies make
by
me
a
so
degree.
mad.
Yeah.
I'm so mad. I'm so offended. Yeah, it's not going well.
It's not going well, and I have given up hope that anything is going to change.
No, and you keep like trying to like supply detail that you're pretty sure I missed or has maybe not explicitly been said. But you keep like calling, like, remember you're like, oh, the guys, and I was like, who are you talking about? Are you talking about the trees? And you're like, well, they're not called trees. Okay, you know what? Let's call them what they are. Maybe it would be a little less confusing when you're just making up, like this is a made up language. All of this stuff doesn't exist. You're just doing it on purpose to be opaque.
I'm not doing it.
I mean, you were doing it. You could have just called them the trees.
I was just
Obviously,
being correct.
Tolkien is not hanging around to like zap you in the nipple when you don't use the correct terminology.
It's a thing in the movie that
Who
the ants don't like being called trees.
So you would rather infuriate your wife than call a tree by any other name?
I didn't know it was going to infuriate you.
You should have known. I can't believe you didn't know because a lot of things infuriate me and you know that very well.
I do know that very well, and it's always a surprise when I find out what it is.
This movie is just one 7-hour trigger for me. Like, it's just, oh God. So boring.
Yeah.
It's so boring.
Oh, it's extremely slow. Like, I thought it was going to pick up, It didn't really pick up.
No.
Like maybe the third one.
And then there's like this part where you're like, oh, and a thing to know is the trees have no concept of time. So they could just stand here talking for an hour or a year or whatever.
Yeah, well, that is an actual thing in the movie where
no kidding.
They're gonna miss the battle because they've been talking for like, you know, a whole scene, and then it turns out they just decided that Merry and Pippin were not orcs. That's it. That's not the thing they're even supposed to be talking about.
No, and then they decided not to join until they saw that in fact they were murdering.
They're murdering trees.
Yeah. So, I mean, these trees are very selfish.
They are. But Merry and Pippin figured that out.
Oh, were those the other little hobbits?
Those are the other little hobbits, and that's why they made them go that way, so they would see all the dead trees.
I mean, it didn't get by me. This is not really like...
It's not really that complicated, no.
No. That's the thing. I think somebody knows that this story is actually very, very simple, and so they're trying to confuse you with nonsensical details and made-up languages to disguise the fact that this story has already been told.
I think that's good. You cracked it.
Yeah.
But we'll see if there's anything new in The Return of the King.
Why? Why did you do this to me?
It's quarantine season.
Man, I have gone my whole life avoiding these movies. And I was right. I was so right. And you know I'm always right.
Yes, I do.
You know I'm always right.
Yes.
I can't believe you did this.
Yes, you can.
I thought you were better than this, Sean.
No, you didn't.
I have to believe that, Sean.
Those have been sitting in our garage for so long. This was just...
And that is where they belong, if not under the tires of my car. Oh boy.
Just one more.
Oh boy. And that one white horse that goes galloping down. Oh
yeah, Shadowfax.
Like, I don't get it. Somebody needs to tell me, why does anyone think these are good movies? You think they're good movies. You own these movies. Why? What is good about it? Tell me what is good.
It's a good story.
I think we already debunked that one.
It doesn't have to be original to be good.
Yeah.
Well.
All right.
All right.
All right. Number 3.
Number 3.
Oh my.
Let's go.
Hello. We have just finished the third and, my God, I hope final movie.
Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. And it depends on how you look at it, because there's 3 other Hobbit movies.
Sean.
I haven't seen those. I couldn't even bring myself to see them.
Okay. Anyways.
What'd you think?
You know I hated it. I
Yeah.
hated every minute of it.
And it's a lot of minutes.
Like, how much time? Did you do the math? How much time did I spend on that movie? Wasted my life on?
About 9.5 hours.
No, dear. That is the running time of the movie. That's the time I spent watching the movie. What about all of the time I spent hating the movie? Because that has been on many of the off hours as well. There has been a strong, prevalent, like that is the kind of hate that sticks to your ribs.
I didn't count those other hours.
Ah, okay. So, there's just a big black hole where my precious time went.
There is.
And it is a hole that will never be filled because I can't unsee those movies.
No, you can't.
I certainly cannot unhate them.
Would you want to, though?
No. I mean, I wish you just made me watch good movies.
You watch good movies on your own.
Oh. You watch good movies all the time. Sometimes you have to watch a bad movie, except that's not true. It is not true. You could just go your whole life only watching good movies, or trying to only watch good movies, which I have done, and I have stayed away from these movies for this entire century thus far.
Until
And it was the right call.
quarantine.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
And you thought the virus was going to be the worst part of this. No, it can get worse, guys.
I still like it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
Like, I did not understand what was happening. There's too many people with too many bit parts. Like,
Yes.
and they all look the same.
Pretty much.
Oh man, it was rough going.
I know.
I never knew what was happening.
I know.
And I hated most of your explanations for what was happening.
I know.
That's the thing. Understanding what was happening only made it worse. It just made me madder.
It did. It really did. It was surprising.
It was so disheartening. And like, what's that called? The big fireball?
Oh, Sauron? The eye?
The eye.
Yeah.
That is not an eye. That is a vulva. I think we were a little mistaken about who was really in charge there. But I know a vulva when I see it. And it was pretty hard to miss.
It was. It's big and orange and just in the sky.
Yeah. And then it wasn't.
Right, it exploded.
It exploded.
Yeah.
And a volcano erupted. And you know what? At some point, pretty early on in this third movie, well, I mean, probably like halfway through, but it was hours and hours ago, I thought to myself, if people don't die, I'm going to be really mad. Because you can't go into this many battles and come out with all of your main characters intact.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And guess what happened? Nobody died.
They're just that.
And the people that almost died came back to life. 2 came back to life. 2 in one movie. This was not the first time a dead person came back to life in these films.
No, I think a dead person comes back to life in every one of the films.
Mm-hmm. You know, and then it was very like Star Warsy, where like he lost a finger.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, that's an even trade for sure. Now we know that even the good guys can get hurt.
Yeah.
And then he did amazing feats with that stump. That stump, oh my gosh.
Fresh one, yes.
And like, I'm sorry, but Elijah Wood is not the manliest. Like, it's hard to believe. I mean, certainly without Sam's help, he would have died of thirst on the 30th minute of the quest. Never mind 13 months. But the fact that he's able to like hold on to cliffs with like a freshly bitten off stump of a finger, that's like Harrison Ford when he got shot in the arm and then used that arm to hold on to the back of an airplane that was in the air.
Oh yeah. Of course, he was the president at the time.
Of course he was. At the time, as we all know. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Boys should not be allowed to write movies.
Said.
End of discussion. You had your chance. You'll keep blowing it. You blow it excessively. I mean, you would blow it excessively. That's the only way this would ever go. No, but like time after time, you don't ever like learn a lesson. Nobody's getting better at this. The point is, we finished.
We did.
And though I am very angry at having lost my time and my sanity, we have survived, we will move on, and I will never have to do that again.
That's true.
Not even if your life depended on it.
Which would be an interesting scenario.
Yeah, it would be. But you know what? You'll be kicking yourself that you wasted that one chance here, won't you? Won't you? That's right. So all the other dumb movies that you have in your head that we're going to watch this quarantine,
I don't
better
have
weigh
any
that
more,
heavily.
actually. I don't have any more on my list.
Oh, really? Because you have, like, just this week mentioned several.
Wow.
Wow.
Those are dumb movies.
I think we've established the kind of movies you tend to recommend. If you've seen it and I haven't, default dumb movie. It's a guaranteed dumb movie.
It's probably a
No,
good
it's
test.
for sure. For 110% sure. Ladies, grab those remotes and don't put them down until the virus is gone. You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.